Officer Mark Bryant thought it would be just another routine traffic stop in the quiet streets of Haven Point. He had no idea it would become the moment that would define his career. Driving home from a long day at the office, Alex Garrett enjoyed the soft hum of his sedan and the faint rhythm of a jazz station. The day was fading, the sky painted with streaks of deep orange as the sun dipped toward the horizon. As he approached an intersection, the yellow light blinked. Alex slowed to a smooth stop, steady and deliberate. That's when flashing blue lights ignited behind him, piercing the calm evening. The shrill wail of the siren followed. Without panic, Alex pulled to the side and rolled down his window as the patrol car stopped behind him. Bryant circled slowly in front of the car, unsettled. Alex wasn't behaving like most people would. There was no panic, no nervous stammering, just quiet control, and it was starting to rattle him. "You seem pretty sure of yourself," Bryant muttered, "like you know how this is going to play out." Alex didn't rise to the bait. "It's not about confidence, officer. It's about respect." Bryant stiffened, but instead of stepping back, he pushed harder. "Turn around. Hands on the hood. I need to check for weapons." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Weapons? Do I look like I'm carrying?" "Now," Bryant snapped, his frustration slipping through. Without argument, Alex turned and placed his hands on the hood. Bryant's search was unnecessarily rough, lingering too long, trying to provoke something. But Alex didn't flinch. He didn't resist. "You're clean," Bryant finally said, the words begrudging. "Of course," Alex said quietly. "Are we done?" "I'm not done," Bryant snapped, scrambling to regain control. "You seem to know a lot about what's going on here. Why is that?" "I've had some experience," Alex replied. "I've learned a few things over time." Bryant narrowed his eyes. "What are you, a lawyer?" "Something like that." Bryant stepped closer, his voice lowering. "You think you're smarter than me? Think you can talk your way out of this?" Alex met his gaze, steady and unflinching. "I don't think anything. I just believe in fairness, and I haven't seen much of that here today." Bryant's anger spiked. "People like you always..." But he caught himself just in time. It didn't matter. Alex heard enough. "People like me?" Alex repeated, his voice soft but cutting. Bryant stumbled. "You know what I meant." "I do," Alex said quietly. "And this hasn't been about a traffic stop for a long time, has it?" Bryant faltered, unsure of what to say next. The balance of power was gone. "Officer Bryant, I think it's time you know who I am. I don't care who you are." "Yes, you do," Alex said calmly, reaching slowly into his pocket. "I'm reaching for my badge now. No surprises." He pulled out a leather case and flipped it open. The badge gleamed in the fading sunlight. "Alex Garrett, Lead Investigator, State Integrity Division." Bryant's face drained of color. "You're..." "Yes," Alex said. "I investigate officer conduct. I ensure the badge is worn by people worthy of it." Bryant stumbled back, the weight of his authority suddenly feeling heavy. His hand dropped away from his belt. Alex stepped forward, his voice low and deliberate. "Do you know what the most troubling part of this encounter has been?" Bryant said nothing. His silence was loud enough. "It's not the profiling, though that's bad enough. It's not the way you escalated this without reason. It's that you did all of it without even knowing who you were talking to. You assumed I didn't know my rights. You assumed I didn't understand the rules you're supposed to follow. And why?" Bryant couldn't answer. "Because I didn't fit your idea of someone who deserves respect." Bryant's shoulders slumped under the weight of the realization. "Here's what's going to happen," Alex continued. "You're going to step back. You're going to return my documents. And you're going to think very carefully about what you say next." Bryant hesitated, but eventually retrieved Alex's license and registration, his hands trembling as he handed them back. Alex turned toward his car, then paused, looking over his shoulder one last time. "Remember this, Officer Bryant. The badge doesn't make you better than anyone. It makes you accountable to everyone." Alex climbed back into his car and started the engine, driving off into the quiet street. Bryant was left standing in the dusk, his certainty shattered, his future unclear. But for Alex, this was not the end. It was the beginning of something far more important. The drive home was quiet, but Alex's thoughts raced. This wasn't the first time he had encountered an officer like Bryant. It wouldn't be the last. But this time, it was different. This time, Alex had the authority to act. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the blinds of his office at the State Integrity Division. Files sat neatly on his desk, but one in particular was already open. Officer Mark Bryant. The report wasn't clean. There were notes about minor complaints, excessive stops, and several incidents labeled as misunderstandings. None had ever escalated into a formal investigation. Until now. Alex leaned back in his chair, hands steepled under his chin. Bryant wasn't just a problem. He was a symptom. A soft knock interrupted his thoughts. His assistant, Rachel, stepped in holding a stack of reports. "Morning, Mr. Garrett. I've got the monthly summary on department complaints. Also, Director Hayes wanted me to remind you about the leadership briefing next week." Alex nodded. "Thanks, Rachel. Can you also set up a meeting with Director Hayes this afternoon? There's something I need to discuss with him." Rachel paused, sensing the weight behind his words. "Of course," she said before slipping out. Alex's gaze returned to Bryant's file, but his mind was on something larger. Bryant wasn't an isolated case. He was the product of a system that quietly allowed his behavior to continue. Alex wasn't interested in issuing quiet warnings. He was preparing to challenge the entire system. Later that afternoon, Alex sat across from Director Hayes in a conference room. Hayes, a seasoned leader with silver-streaked hair and sharp eyes, listened carefully as Alex described the traffic stop. "I could have ignored it," Alex said. "I could have written it off as just another bad encounter. But that would have been a mistake." "This isn't the first time Bryant's name has crossed my desk," Hayes admitted. "We've always handled it quietly." "That's the problem," Alex replied. "Quiet doesn't solve anything. Quiet lets it keep happening." "What do you propose?" Hayes asked. "A department-wide review. Not just officers. Training, procedures, accountability, all of it. We can't keep covering this up. If we want the public to trust us, we have to be willing to confront ourselves." Hayes exhaled slowly. "You're going to ruffle a lot of feathers." "Good. It's long overdue." The next few weeks were a storm of meetings, reports, and interviews. Alex met with officers across the state. He spoke at public forums, listened to community concerns, and reviewed years of misconduct data. The Bryant incident became the catalyst. What began as a roadside confrontation grew into something that couldn't be ignored. Bryant faced an internal hearing. Alex made no effort to hide his involvement. He sat across from Bryant, watching as the officer fumbled under scrutiny. Bryant was suspended, but Alex knew the real victory wasn't in punishing Bryant. The real victory would come by preventing the next one. Months later, Alex stood before a room of officers, city officials, and community members at a public event. He didn't speak about blame. He spoke about responsibility, about the duty of the badge, about the power of respect. Justice isn't just about catching criminals. It's about ensuring those who wear the badge do so with integrity and fairness. That's the badge I believe in. That's the badge we're building here, together. The crowd applauded, but Alex didn't linger in their approval. For him, this wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning of a better one. As Alex stepped down from the stage, He scanned the room. Some faces were skeptical, some were hopeful, but all were listening. He knew real change wouldn't happen overnight. It would take time, effort, and resolve. But change would come. And for now, that was enough.